Hey, Divine Soul, welcome to your April energy forecast. I am so excited for this episode today. It is the first ever episode that I am recording on my brand new laptop that I manifested this month in March, which is a whole story that you're going to get to hear on this podcast episode, which I can't wait to share with you. So this feels really special, and I feel it aligns so well with the April energy because it's going to be a month of new beginnings. It's going to be a month where there's a lot of movement, a lot of momentum. The energy this month feels very fiery and inspired, and it's going to shoot us out of a cannon into a whole new state of being. So I can't wait to get into it with you today. As always, thank you so much for coming to the podcast, listening to these episodes. You, my listener, are so near and dear to my heart, and you make doing this work even more fun than I could possibly imagine. And I am so grateful for you. And it feels really fresh. The energy right now, as I'm filming this episode, it is the end of March. This episode is going to come out a week ahead of schedule because it is Mercury retrograde, and I did have some podcast guest episodes that got rescheduled and all sorts of things all over the map. So this episode is coming out a little bit sooner than I had been planning, but it's all in divine timing. So we're not going to stress about it. We're just going to flow with it. And that's a big decision I've really made at the beginning of this year. I have really decided to commit to living a more intuitive life and a more intuitive lifestyle, and to really follow my intuition and where it's leading me every single moment of every single day. And so I'm following the call and I'm following the guidance. And that includes doing this podcast episode a little bit earlier than I was anticipating. And that's what it needs to be. So here we are. And I love this time of the year because it is full of rebirth. It is the spring season here in the Northern Hemisphere. We just celebrated the spring equinox at the end of this past week here. And that entails just a whole new fresh vibration. I find that our calendar year, because it is not in alignment with the astrological new year, can feel a little bit out of whack. So when we celebrate the holidays and the end of the calendar year, the energy doesn't always feel like we're transitioning into a quote unquote new year. It doesn't feel in alignment with the natural cycles of our planet and our earth. And so when the astrological new year begins, I appreciate that, because I feel like this really is the start of the new year in a lot of ways. And so I hope that you feel that too. And I hope that this episode proves to be an activation for you in your life to help shoot you out of that cannon or blast off the rocket ship of you speeding towards your dreams and desires and gaining more momentum, traction, movement, and inspiration to go forward in whatever way you feel called to do so. And this is going to be a month where finally we have no planets in retrograde. As I'm filming this, we are in the midst of a Venus retrograde and a Mercury retrograde. We've got one more eclipse to go before this episode airs. And so we'll see what happens. But when we finally hit the month of April, we're going to start to see things moving and grooving, which I feel like that directness is going to be really good for so many of us, especially if you felt like you've been in a fog or unclear or just sort of held back in some way. I really think that the energy is going to get moving for you again. And what I'm feeling really called to say and to share with you is that so much of this astrological focus is in the sign of Aries. So it is Aries season right now. The sun is in Aries, but there are a lot of planets that are in Aries. Most of these astrological transits are happening in Aries. So there is such a highlight in this zodiac sign. Aries is a fire sign. So it is a very movement-focused energy. It is passionate. It is direct. It knows what it wants. It's ambitious. it takes up space, it is empowered. And so I really want you to lean into what area of your life you are feeling that Aries, fiery, energetic expression. So what you can do is you can pull up your birth chart or go to astro.com, put in your birth information, grab your chart. I use the whole sign method of astrology, which means that all 12 of the houses in the zodiac system are going to equate to perfect pieces of the pie on the zodiac wheel pie chart. So you can check the box for whole sign houses before you pull your chart. This is more advanced. So if you don't know how to do that, don't worry about it. But what's most important is that you go to the section of your chart that is marked with the Aries ram horns, and you take a look and see what number house, what section of the pie chart Aries is in for you, because that's going to tell you a lot about what area or theme of your life is really going to be highlighted during Aries season. And yes, the sun is going to move into Taurus during the second half of April. And also there's still a lot of planets that are in Aries. So there's going to be a big theme. There's just going to be a lot coming up, a lot of movement, a lot of momentum, a lot of energy there for you. And it can just be helpful to keep that in the back of your mind as we're going through the course of this month, just to see what could be coming up for you, what themes, and so on and so forth. And then once you find that section of the chart, you can just do a little bit of Googling and Google, okay, what does the first house mean for me? Or what does the second house mean for me? Or the third house? I don't want to take up too much time going into each house directly in this podcast episode, but you can pretty quickly look it up and see what area of life that numbered house corresponds to. And again, that's going to give you some themes and some clues into what could be in store for you this month. So before I get too deep into the energy forecast, I want to share with you some cool, fun, personal stories that are really just interesting and fascinating that I have to let you know about. Okay, so first of all, this month has just been wild for me in so many ways. Things have been moving very, very quickly, which I really think speaks to this Aries energy that we're working with right now. I feel a lot of momentum and a lot of movement in all areas of my life, to be honest with you. And I did not feel that way at the end of 2024. Things felt pretty stagnant for me. I felt just a lot of resistance, just a lot of things. If you've listened to my other energy forecast, you will have heard some of the stories and things that happened for me at the end of the last year. And so one of my big commitments to myself at the beginning of this year, literally as the calendar changed to January, I knew that I really needed to upgrade my business processes and get my hands on a new laptop. So one of the things that I have been manifesting for myself this year is a new MacBook Pro laptop. And I've had a few moments with my old computer where the computer has been so slow and just hasn't been able to keep up with the speed at which I need to do things, because when you're an entrepreneur, you've got a million tabs open, you're recording, you're creating content, you are working really fast, you're on Zoom all of the time. So I needed a device that would keep up with the speed at which I need to operate and work. So I've been really working on manifesting a new laptop. And so what I decided to do was, I have known in the back of my mind for a while that I've wanted to get a Mac. I've been a PC user my whole life. And because I worked in the business world, I worked in the corporate world where PCs are dominant. So I just kept using a PC, kept buying PCs, and just felt like I needed something that was more connected for all of my devices, all of the content I create, all of my files, and so on and so forth. So I really wanted to manifest a MacBook and looked into it. And lo and behold, Mac has this really great business financing program for small business owners or business owners of any size. So you have to fill out some applications. You have to get connected with a business advisor at your local store. It's a whole process. But I went through all of the step-by-step in order to do the business financing, because let's face it, laptops are expensive. I didn't really want to pay for one in full. Don't want to put it on a personal credit card. You know, all of these things. And I'm a payment plan girl. I love putting things on payment plans. It really works for me. It allows me to budget. It's great for cash flow purposes as a business owner. So I didn't really want to pay for a MacBook outright, wanted to go the business financing route, which also allows you to build business credit, by the way, which is important when you're a business owner. So anyway, I decide to go through this business financing route, which is important context to the story I'm about to tell you, because I had no idea that going the business financing route to get this new laptop was going to take as long as it did. And if you know one thing about me from listening to a lot of my episodes, I often talk about divine timing. I talk about surrender. I talk about trust a lot. And I talk about leaning into the experience of life and trusting the timing and when things happen and when things manifest. And so this was such an upgrade. This was such a lesson. This was a lot of surrendering in order to create the space for this laptop to come through for me. So anyway, lo and behold, I fill out all of these forms. I had no idea, my ego mind had no idea how long this was going to take. And so I'm waiting to get the laptop. I started the process in January. I filled out all of the proper forms at the beginning of February. And what I am leading to is that eventually I finally received the laptop in March. It took months to get here, a couple of months to get here. So the whole process took a while, at least in my opinion. But I have some really magical things to share with you on that note. So we're going to table the MacBook story to the side for a moment. Another really wild thing that happened for me this month, which has been really hard and difficult and challenging, is that I got some news at the beginning of March that my childhood cat, one of my childhood cats, her name was Lucy. Unfortunately, Lucy started to get very sick at the beginning of March. My parents live about 2 hours from me, so I try to see them once a month, try to get home to see them. Last time I saw Lucy, she was looking older. She was 17 years old, a senior cat, and she was still mobile, still seemed to be doing well. So I got to see her when she was active and eating and drinking and all of the things and still living her best kitty cat life. And I got news from my parents that she was sick and wasn't doing well. And that was really hard because that news came at the beginning of March when I had a lot of things going on in my business. I was starting the Divine Trust mentorship. I had just a lot of new clients coming into my world and didn't really have time to sit with that and sit with the idea of Lucy no longer being here on this planet. And it ended up happening kind of miraculously because my parents took her to the vet. The vet was able to give her some medicine, and she had a little bit of a miraculous healing for a short period of time. And this healing bought my parents 3 extra weeks with her. Unfortunately, she did pass away this past week, a couple of days ago as I'm filming this. She passed away on March 19th. And I knew going to bed the night before that that was it, that I had to say goodbye. So I took my time heading to bed that night. I sat with Lucy. I thought about her in my mind's eye. I called in all of my angels and guides, and I said goodbye. Oh my God, I'm going to get emotional. Which was really sweet because she was a big, big part of my life for a long time. She had a sister cat named Chloe, which if you've been in my world for a few years now, Chloe passed away during the spring season around Easter time a couple of years ago. And when Chloe passed away, it was devastating because I really saw her as a soulmate pet, and her passing was so fast. Animal loss is so hard, by the way. So if you're navigating animal loss or have recently or in your life in general, it's so challenging. You've been through it. And so losing Lucy was really hard. It's never easy. It can be a little bit easier when you're expecting it, when it's a senior pet, but still, when they are such a big part of your life for such a long time, it feels like the end of an era. For me, this was losing a childhood pet. So it was almost like, my gosh, childhood, part of my childhood is ending in a way. So that was so emotional for me and difficult. And the next morning I woke up and I was in a little bit of denial about it. I knew my parents were taking her to the vet that day. So I knew that I was going to be getting some news one way or another. Didn't want to look at my phone. So I said to myself, okay, I'm going to take some time. I'm going to go into meditation this morning. I am going to connect with my guides. I'm going to protect my energy. I'm going to connect with Lucy's energy. I'm going to do it on my own time. So as soon as I sat down to do all of that, called in my angels, lo and behold, my mom calls. Lo and behold, I get the news immediately. The timing of it was crazy. And unfortunately, Lucy had passed overnight the night before on her own, in her own way, which is so beautiful. And she lived such a long life. And what's so wild to me is I have this call with my mom. We talk about things. We're very emotional. I hang up the phone with my mom. And I kid you not, I go and check my email. And sure enough, I had gotten an email from Apple that my laptop had shipped. Literally, while I was on the phone with my mom, the email was sent, the laptop had shipped. What's even crazier is that my old laptop, I purchased that laptop, I want to say in 2018, and that laptop was purchased because I had received some financial inheritance from a loved one of mine, my uncle, who had passed away in 2017, who was a big part of my life, grandfather figure to me, loved him so much. And when I received that laptop in 2018, I sat with it, and my old laptop, I sat with it, and I had this moment where I thought to myself, I'm going to create something really amazing on this. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is or what it's going to be. I have no idea. I don't even know what I can do with this new laptop, but I know it's going to be amazing. And I know it's going to be a miracle. And I know it's going to be something really special. And sure enough, that laptop was, oh my God, I'm so... You're witnessing a very vulnerable moment from Lee the Mystic as I'm recording this, because it's all coming full circle with recording this podcast episode and that laptop being the laptop that I built this entire business on. And I feel so grateful for, I feel so grateful for my uncle and for Lucy for being spirit guides for me that have gotten me here to this moment in time. And wow, do I have gratitude for all of that. So what's even more amazing is that around my birthday, which was in February, I was doing a meditation and my uncle came in and he said, the laptop is coming, the laptop is coming. And I connect with my uncle a lot through mediumship, and he's been a big guide for me in spirit. And I was connecting with him in meditation, and he's telling me this laptop is coming around my birthday. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Well, the laptop didn't come around my birthday. And I was like, oh, I felt a little disappointed, a little deflated that it hadn't arrived. Well, lo and behold, the laptop arrives yesterday on March 20th. And guess what? Today is my uncle's birthday. As I'm recording this episode, it's his birthday. And these life experiences, these spiritual experiences are so unbelievable. They are so unbelievable. I can't make this stuff up. You know what I mean? Like, these little things that we think are happening by accident, they're never by accident. They're always synchronicity. They're always, always, always synchronicity. So I'm just going to gather myself for a moment here. Woo. Oh. So what I feel called to say to you is, if you are navigating a hard time right now, if you're navigating loss or grief or hardship, or if March brought about some massive endings, big portals. It was a big portal month, a big transformational month. To know that April is going to allow for you a fresh start. It's going to allow for you some fresh new energy. It's going to allow for you to have some forward movement and some momentum. And we don't even know what's ahead of us. So even if you don't think the puzzle pieces make sense, or you don't know where you're going, or you feel totally blind to what's next for you, trust your path, trust your process, and let yourself flow. Let yourself flow with your intuition and wherever you feel guided to go, because miraculously, it is going to make sense in ways that you can't even imagine right now. And from the bottom of my heart to yours, I want you to allow yourself to receive the energy that you need this month, that's going to help you heal from the past, that's going to help you let go of the things that may be holding you back, and that's going to help propel you into a really incredible place moving forward. Wow. So much there. I'm trying to think let me just pause for a second here. I just want to think if I forgot to share any details. Yes. And oh my gosh, I also forgot to share with you another really crazy thing that happened. So I get this email after I learned the news about Lucy. I get the email that the laptop shipped. And then I think to myself, I'm going to pull a card, as we do. Meanwhile, I'm in tears, by the way. So I'm saying this joyfully, but in the moment I was like so sad. I have this new deck called the Seasons of the Witch Oracle deck, the Ostera deck for Easter season. And so I wanted to pull a card for myself from that deck. And so I'm flipping through the cards and a card flies out at me. And I take a look and I literally start bawling my eyes out because this card was so synchronistic. When my cat, Chloe, the sister cat to Lucy, passed away a few years ago, the last time I saw her, I was visiting my parents, and my parents have beautiful sections of daffodils in their backyard. Daffodils that were so bright yellow and white and just so beautiful. So before I left that day, it was around this time of the year, maybe mid-April, I wanted to cut myself some daffodils. So I do that, and I had plans to meet with a childhood friend, and I was running late. So I ran out of the house with the daffodils, and I was on my way back to Philadelphia and didn't have time to really properly say goodbye to anyone, including Chloe. Oh my God, so many emotions. Oh God, okay. So I pull this card, and I kid you not, you guys, I freaking get the daffodil card from this deck. I get the daffodil card from this deck minutes after learning that Lucy had passed, and just knowing that Chloe, my cat, is also with me. And Chloe, of course, is waiting there on the other side to meet Lucy and be present with her. Just amazing. Just so amazing. Just unbelievable. Unbelievable. And then I had a client message me later that day saying, I saw your story about your cat passing. And as soon as I did, I gave my cat a hug, and I looked out the window and I saw a bright yellow butterfly. And the symbolism of the color yellow and the daffodil, and the color yellow to me representing spring and just new beginnings, was absolutely not lost on me. So wow, just a series of really profound moments. And after I got this card, I allowed myself to grieve. I gave myself time. I had to reschedule a client that day, and I knew that I needed to move the energy, so I decided to go to the gym. And I was at the gym just doing a gentle workout for myself, just to allow myself to move the grief through, because grief it's important to feel it, and I let myself feel it, but then I also couldn't allow myself to sit in it for hours. So for me, movement is a great way to move energy through my body. So I go to the gym, and I've been planning this trip to visit a friend of mine who lives in northern Idaho, which is right next to the coast of Washington State. So I've been planning this trip to visit my friend, and I hadn't booked the flight yet. I've been just waiting for the right moment, or of course, intuitively guided for the right moment. I am at the gym doing my workout, and I just check my email, And I get an email from Frontier Airlines. I had not been planning to book my flight with Frontier because I've had some Frontier experiences, let me tell you. But I get this email from Frontier, and the email says flights as low as 2,500 miles, which is not a lot of airline miles, if you ask me. And in the email, it had a list of my current miles, and I have like 20,000 Frontier miles or something. And I was like, oh my God, I better use these miles. Like, let me just check. Let me just check on this flight that I have planned with my friend. So I check to see if I can get a flight out to Washington State. And sure enough, the day that I was planning to fly out, there is a freaking flight for 2,500 miles, which is basically free. So I booked a one-way ticket to Spokane, Washington. I apologize if I'm mispronouncing that. And wow, free flight. So immediately things are starting to manifest after this grief that I navigated and moved through. And I cannot wait for this trip. I cannot wait for the rest of the spring season. I can't wait to see where this laptop takes me. So lo and behold, all of this goes to say that everything is always connected. And it takes some healing to allow yourself to be present with a lifestyle similar to the life that I live, where you are so present with your day-to-day, you're so in tune with your environment, you're in tune with your gifts, you're in tune with your guides, you're living through your intuition. It is a fucking magical experience when you let yourself get here. But what it means is that you need to feel your feelings, you need to feel the grief, you need to take risks, you need to do the things that don't make sense, even when you don't understand why. You need to tell people how you feel, you need to communicate. There's so many things that also need to be included that I find that a lot of people aren't always willing to let themselves surrender and lean into a life and a lifestyle where they allow themselves to trust. Because of course we've been hurt in the past, and we've been hurt by loss and grief, and we've been hurt by other people who have hurt us, and we've been hurt by life experiences and health issues and all kinds of things that of course would lead you to feeling like life is really hard and feeling like life is a struggle. But my challenge for you during this month of April is, how can you start listening to the subtleties of your intuition? How can you start paying attention more and being more present with your environment, being more present with your spirit team, listening to where you feel called to go, and allowing yourself to believe in the feelings that you're having? Because I felt so strongly that day after Lucy passed. I'm standing in my kitchen. I get the email that my laptop had shipped, and I feel all of my dead ancestors surrounding me in my kitchen. They were there. They were so present. I felt their energy. I feel Uncle Joe as I'm recording this episode. I feel my cousin's energy, whose birthday is tomorrow. I know that all of these people who are my loved ones on the other side, I know that they are all present with me. And I know that you listening to this have had moments where you have felt your loved ones with you, and then you've dismissed yourself. And you've said, oh, no, I'm just thinking about them. It's just me. It's just my mind. Or you've had a dream about them, and you're like, oh, yeah, it was just a dream. What? Are you kidding? Like, you are already receiving intuitive messages every single day, and so often we're ignoring them. So my challenge to you this month of April is to follow your intuition, to listen to your intuition. Where is it calling you to go? And my question that you can ask yourself is, and I want you to fill in the blank with this: I don't know how or when, but I know that I will blank. What is the thing? And then my second question for you that I want you to fill in the blank with is, I don't know why or how. And this feels really stretchy. This feels really uncomfortable. This feels really uncertain and unknown, but I know that I have to do blank. What's that thing for you? What's that thing that you know that you have to do, or that nudge that you know that you have to follow, but you're so scared or you don't know where it's going to lead you, or you have no idea how it's going to happen? What is that thing for you? That's really what I want you to lean into this month. That's where this April energy is pointing us. That's where we're being guided to go. I had another crazy experience this month where I sat with my intuition first thing in the morning, and I got this really strong nudge that I needed to connect with an old friend that I haven't spoken to in 2 years. And I was nervous as shit. I was like, what if she doesn't want to talk to me? I haven't spoken with her in a couple years. Who knows what could have happened in that time frame? Maybe, maybe I fell out of her life and she's not really interested in connecting with me. I haven't heard from her in so long. But I got this nudge and I reached out to her and she was like, I cannot believe you just texted me. This is crazy. And here's why. And we had this whole conversation, which led to us a couple of days later catching up on a 2-hour phone call. And it was just like the stars aligned. Like, are you kidding me? Wow. So with all of that being said, you also need to make time to slow down to listen to these nudges, because I can tell you from experience in past years, past times for me, I haven't made the time for it. I've been too busy. I've had too much going on. I haven't wanted to do it. I haven't wanted to slow down, wanted to get more sleep, all the excuses. I have to get to the gym on time, all of these things that you tell yourself when you could spare 10 to 15 minutes to just sit in silence, or put on the binaural beats, call your spirit team into the room with you and ask them for help, ask them for guidance. I kid you not, in December, I had a moment where I had this big business goal, big financial goal that I was working on. I put everything out on a spreadsheet and I sat in front of my computer and I said out loud, spirit team, I want to create this and I need your help. I can't do this alone. What can you do for me? Help me get here. Help me achieve that. And I have blown away that goal already. And it's been 3 months. It's been only 3 months since then. They worked miracles on my behalf. But I don't think we often ask for that help. Or if we do, we sit and stew on it and we don't ask out loud, or we don't take the time to connect with the guides and ask for their help on a day-to-day basis, because they can only do so much. They can move things behind the scene for you, but if they're telling you to do something specific and you freaking haven't done it because of whatever excuse, then it's going to get pushed out. Your timeline's going to get pushed out. So you got to listen. Got to listen to the intuitive nudges because they're guiding you exactly where they need to go. And by the way, I had an astrology reading that I booked for myself for my birthday, and the astrologer told me that and this is really interesting information that you may find fascinating too. Apparently, the sun, so in the astrological birth chart, every astrology sign has, I believe, 28 degrees. So when the sun moves through every single degree, it takes approximately a year. So depending on where your natal sun is in your birth chart, after 28 years, your sun moves into a different sun sign entirely. I believe I'm explaining that correctly. If you're an astrologer and I'm explaining that incorrectly, please let me know. But I believe that between the ages of 28 to 30, your sun sign moves to a new sign. Now, your natal sun sign is always going to be you. It's always going to be your identity. It's always going to be part of you. But your progressed sun, which is where your sun sign is after 28 to 30 years, that is kind of a new expression of you that emerges. And so apparently my natal sun has moved into Aries. So whatever your sun sign is, it will be the zodiac sign that falls after that. So for example, if you're an Aries sun sign, it would be Taurus for you. If you're a Taurus, it would be Cancer. It would be Gemini. If you're a Gemini, it would be Cancer, et cetera, et cetera. So for me, it's Aries. And apparently I am stepping into some big Aries expression, which means being a bit more bold, a bit more direct, a bit more unfiltered. So I am all here for it. So my podcast episodes may come across a little bit more bold and direct than they have in the past. And I do all of this with love, and I share all of this guidance with you with love, of course. So just letting you know that, letting you keep that in mind. But I had to share that because we are in Aries season. And I have to interrupt this podcast episode to tell you about a product that I am absolutely obsessed with and have been loving so much. And that is Elix Cycle Balance. This incredible women's hormonal health supplement that was created on the foundation of Chinese medicine, helps you balance your hormones so that you can feel better every single day of your cycle. For me, this incredible supplement helped me on my journey getting off of hormonal birth control and has helped me feel so good. I have so much energy. I have very limited physical symptoms, especially during my cycle. And I just feel good. So I cannot recommend this stuff to you enough. I am not a huge supplement person. I don't take a ton of supplements. So for me, it's just my daily multivitamin and this and some elderberry that I take for immune support, and that's it. And this has really changed the game for me. If you want to give it a try, go ahead, check out the link in the show notes and use code 15EmilyL for 15% off. So anyway, on with the energy update for the rest of this month. Oh my gosh, when I asked the guides about this, they kept sharing with me fire energy, fire, fire, fire. And then I looked at the astrology and I was like, whoa, there is so much empowered, fiery, direct energy this month. That is going to give you some momentum, and that's going to allow you to feel some rapid changes or shifts in your life. But again, you have to be open to them. Again, you have to allow yourself to move with your intuition and to allow yourself to move with the current of life and where it is guiding you to go, because things could move very fast this month, and they could move quickly in a way that you're not expecting or anticipating. So don't let that surprise you or scare you. I am someone who's been on a very accelerated, fast moving journey over the last 5 years. So I know speed very, very well. And I also know that speed can be and can feel really cool and can feel really magical. So I am giving you all of the Aries speedy energy this month. And I hope that it really lands for you. And it's time for you to tune into that inner fire, that inner sense of passion and drive and ambition and focus. We all have that within us. We all have that sort of inner warrior goddess archetype, god or goddess archetype within us. So what is that part of you telling you? What does that part of you want to do? Where does that part of you want to go? That's going to be a big part of your story this month, is leaning into that energy. So for my intuitives out there, you may even want to sit with that, and you may even want to ask your inner warrior to step forward, your inner warrior goddess, your inner warrior god archetype, whatever you identify with, and ask them, what do you have to share with me? What do I need to know? Where do I need to go? Where do I need to focus myself? How can I direct this energy? Because it's going to be moving so fast, you may feel a little bit scattered or all over the place or ungrounded. So it's going to be really important to ground yourself. It's also going to be important to really think before you say things too, because that directness, that boldness may come across as too forward to people or just maybe a little bit intense. So you may say things that you don't mean. And so just be aware of that. And just be aware of how that could come across. I'm not telling you to censor yourself, but I'm just telling you to just slow it down a little bit. Like the energy is going to be moving so fast that you may have to just kind of figure out your speed and how that is going to unfold for you and how you're going to allow yourself to express that energy during the course of this month. All right, I'm going to tune in to see if there are any messages that want to come forward for us during this episode. All right, so my team is here with me. They're on the line. They're waiting for me to ask them some questions. So I'm going to do a little bit of live channeling for once, and I'm going to see what they have to say. So they're saying that it's going to be a month where you connect with your inner power. And it's an opportunity to step into a state of empowerment. So you may be shown in your life where you are disempowered. People, places, situations, circumstances that have led you to be disempowered. And they're saying that it's an opportunity for you to take your power back. How can you set the boundary? How can you be more direct? How can you communicate what you need? How can you be more clear with that person or in that relationship? And how can you ask for what you want? They're saying something that I say all the time, which is ask and ye shall receive. How can you ask for what you want? So there's a directness to the communication, especially because the planet Mercury is going to be going direct this month. So Mercury retrograde, when it ends, there's going to be that opportunity for you to be really clear with your speech and with what you say and with articulating yourself in that throat chakra energy. So you may feel some throat chakra healing this month. There may be some opportunities for you to communicate and be clearer and more direct. And maybe that is saying out loud to your guides what you need their help with. Or maybe that is having that conversation with your partner. Or maybe that is having that direct discussion like me with my old friend that I got back in touch with. Maybe there's someone in your life that you need to speak with. So what could that be for you? How can you lean into that clear communication and that empowered speech and taking back your power and allowing yourself to know, what is it that I want? What do I want to focus on? I guarantee you that March brought up for you witnessing a lot of people in your life going through crazy circumstances, hardships. I know for me that I've seen people in my life and clients navigating a lot of stuff. And for me, other than some of the things I shared with you, life has been pretty stable. It's been pretty good. I can't complain. And yet I've been witnessing people navigating some really intense situations and circumstances. And that I can allow that to take a toll on me, or I can allow myself to take responsibility for my own feelings and well-being, set boundaries, set time boundaries, and also just be more aware and present of when I am empathically taking on energy that's not mine. So if that's been the case for you, this month is really going to be an opportunity for you to take your power back and let go of maybe codependency or where situations where people are draining your energy, the energy vampires, people that are pulling on you or tugging on you. It's a time to really focus on you. It's a really self-directed energy from what I'm receiving. And they're also saying finding your voice in your community too. So yes, self-directed, but also finding people around you that are like-minded and talking to them and being vulnerable, being open with them, just like I've done with you on this podcast episode, to clue people in on what you're navigating and gathering that support and that community and that group-oriented energy around you is really, really important. And they're saying finding your place in the group. And one thing I've been really trying to encourage my clients to lean into is in group situations and settings, how can you approach them knowing that you belong there? I think we often, as spiritual people, we feel like outsiders. We feel like the weird one. We feel like we're the odd one out and people don't always understand us. So therefore we shrink back and we hide. And I want to tell you that you're putting that on yourself. So how can you let yourself belong? How can you cultivate that energy of belonging from within you to show up differently in your group spaces? Now, of course, that doesn't mean like pretending to be someone you're not or trying to fit in and putting on a false front or false facade. But it also means like, maybe I could talk about my spiritual interests and actually be open about them instead of making up something in my head that they're not interested or that they don't want to know or that they're not interested in me and what I have to say in my life. Maybe it means I do belong here and I am worthy of being here and people are interested in me. The guides keep saying to me, believe in the fact that you are gracing others with your presence. So others are lucky to spend time with you. And your energy is valuable and important, and you leave an impact, you leave a mark on people. So how can you show up that way? And knowing that the time that you give to others is so sacred, and you belong in those group situations and circumstances, and you are literally gracing people with your energy and your presence. I find for my introverts and my empaths out there that can allow us to show up a little bit more powerfully and less as the wallflower, less as the person shrinking back, less as the person with the social anxiety. Because trust me, I still continue to navigate social anxiety. That's been a big area of healing for me. I get it. if I could recommend you anything, it would be to check out Alexis Smart Flower Essences and specifically purchase the Wallflower Essence. That really helped me with navigating some of that fear of being seen and not allowing myself to be present with other people. So that was a huge game changer for me. I took about 2 bottles of Wallflower back to back for about 60 days, and it really made a difference. Not affiliated with them, but it did change my life. So I wanted to share that with you. Okay, I'm going to tune into what's the next message that needs to be shared. They're saying make your own luck this month. How can you lean into the vibration frequency of luck? And luck is something that you make of it. It's not something that happens to a chosen few or that only some people are lucky. It is an energy frequency that you can cultivate within yourself. And yes, maybe it would help you to heal from the past situations where you felt unlucky or where you felt like time wasn't on your side or you felt like you've been the victim of bad luck and bad circumstance. But how can you start to see things differently and start to believe in luck? And maybe that's the energy that you really want to work with during April is luck is on my side. I am so lucky every minute of every single day, and really affirming that to yourself and doing the necessary healing to let go of where in your past you've been unlucky. That can be a really just interesting energy to play around with and can be really valuable and really profound. So they're saying luck is on your side if you believe it to be. They're saying you have to find your own pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. I know that's a little bit of a St. Patrick's Day message, but we're going to apply it to April as well because it is the spring season. It is a month of new beginnings. And they're saying knowing that the luck and the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow is wherever you are, wherever you decide to be, you bring it with you. It's not something outside of yourself that you have to chase or find. It is something that you can tap into within yourself. And again, they're recommending that if this is something you want to work with, that you can call forward your inner lucky version of you. Your inner lucky girl or your inner lucky guy or your inner lucky person, the version of you that is super lucky. Call them forward and ask them for guidance. Ask them what they would do if you can't figure out your next steps. Ask them for help. That inner lucky version of you wants to support you. Okay, what other messages do we have? They're also saying playful, passionate. So they're saying to not forget to have fun during this month. I feel like life may get very busy for you, and we can often forget to do the things that bring us joy, the passion projects, the side hustles, the hobbies. And it doesn't have to be something that makes you money. I know I always want to be trying to trade my time for money and figure out ways that I can sell new things to make more. It's fun. It's super fun to play with money in that way. But also not everything that you create has to return a financial result. So maybe you just want to paint for the heck of it, or you want to create for the heck of it, or you want to start a podcast just because you feel called to share your voice. It doesn't mean that it has to make you money. So just let yourself create, let yourself be curious, let yourself be playful, let yourself just be driven by your passions and that creative essence, that creative spark. It's like a very strong sacral energy. I feel us working with the throat chakra and that sacral creative essence this month and feeling that connection between the two. That's really going to help you spark a drive. That's going to help you spark passion. They're also saying intimacy and vulnerability with people. That's going to be really important for your growth. They're saying that this month is a threshold. It's a bridge. So we walked through this big portal of transformation in March, and we can allow April to be this threshold into something new, into a new beginning. And so for some of you, it may feel like a transition, a void, an in-between state. But I do feel like you're going to get movement. So maybe you felt like you've been in the void and you're coming out of it this month. We're moving forward movement, forward momentum. Let yourself be driven and listen to that inner drive, that inner fire. We're igniting that spark. We're setting the intention that this podcast episode ignites your inner spark and your inner fire. Ooh, that feels so good. Ooh, do you feel that energy coming in? Yes, we're just going to allow that to be received. If you want to say yes to receive that inner fire activation, all you have to do is say yes out loud now. And your spirit team is helping you activate that from within. We're also going to ask for them to clear any necessary debris or stuck or stagnant energy in the throat. They're saying the heart, and they're saying the sacral. Okay, and the solar plexus. Just moving these energies now. Beautiful. Okay, they're saying that feels complete. So I'm going to leave you with a little mini reading. I have some cards that I've already pre-pulled that I typically do on these podcast episodes. So I am going to, so here's what I do. So I'm going to give you 3 different colors, and I'm going to invite you to pick a color that feels intuitively like the color for you. And then depending on the color that you choose, you're going to get a message. So the colors are pink, orange, and white. Pink, orange, and white. Pink, orange, and white. Pink, orange, and white. So pick your color. All right, and I am going to read what you received. So if you chose the color pink, we have the Lamb card. This is from my Seasons of the Witch Ostera Oracle deck. We have the Lamb card. Lamb, keywords, gentleness, patience, vulnerability, and trust. OMG, isn't that perfect? Lambs or young sheep are associated with the more Christian version of Ostera or Easter, but still beautifully represent the early days of spring. They symbolize innocence, purity, and vulnerability, just like the first sprouts of a seed. Lambs are trusting and submissive by nature and will approach your hand with joy and gentleness, waiting patiently for you to share your love with them. When this card eases into your reading, it is to encourage you to approach your desires with the same gentle energy. When planting a seed, you must learn to trust that it will sprout when the time is right. Be patient, my darling. Your desire is still yours for the taking, but it is taking its sweet time and making sure the conditions are just right. You are being asked to trust in the path you have found yourself upon. Divine timing is at work here. However you may find your journey will move along just a bit faster by openly communicating your desires and needs. What? Isn't this just the whole thing? This whole podcast episode? Is this in a card? Open yourself to help from those around you. Open yourself up for help from those around you and allow yourself to be vulnerable and free in your expression. Recognize the power of allowing yourself to be seen. Check, 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 check. By sharing your feelings, you create opportunities for others to support your needs. I can't believe I just said chick, check. That must be a message for someone. Chicks, maybe that's a spirit animal for you. That's so funny. So that's your card, the Lamb. I mean, I can't say any more than that. That is perfect. Perfectly divine. Okay, and if you selected the color orange, you received card number 18, the Grasshopper. Keywords, quantum leaps, good luck, soul song. Oh my gosh, I didn't even read these cards after I pulled them until now, and it's like exactly what the podcast episode was about. So crazy. Grasshoppers are a nearly universal symbol of good luck when they appear, and the same is true when this card hops into your spread. Its presence is an almost guaranteed sign of success regardless of your question, but there is still work to be done. Grasshopper encourages you to make a leap and act on your plans without delay. What is your heart telling you to do at this moment? Listen carefully and you will hear your soul song gently singing the instructions for your next steps. You can trust in what you're feeling and should act accordingly. The shadow side of this card is discounting the guidance provided by your spirit before making a leap. You can expect things to move along quickly when this card appears, but if you leap without a sense of direction, or if you move ahead with a choice that is not in alignment with your soul song, you may face unnecessary detours and dangers that could easily be avoided. You will still be on the path towards success. It will just take longer than it needs to. So that means slowing down. That means slowing down and listening to the guidance and following the little steps. So maybe it's not a big leap right now, but it is good luck. and faith and knowing and trusting that those small leaps are going to lead you exactly where you need to be. And finally, if you selected the color white, we have the Easter egg tree card. The Easter egg tree card. Card number 26. You selected the color white. Easter egg tree. Keywords: traditions, familial connection, celebrations of spring. The Easter egg tree is a centuries-old Germanic tradition of decorating tree branches with Easter eggs in celebration of Easter. The tradition is carried down through the years from parent to child, creating many cheerful memories along the way. Each tree is completely different from the next, a reflection of the many hands who have aided in its creation. The Easter egg tree has emerged to inspire you to rejoice in shared experiences. It reminds you to lean on those who you call family, both the family you're born into and the one you've chosen for yourself. You may have felt lonely in your challenges, believing perhaps that others would not support you in your endeavors, or perhaps you are too afraid to ask for help. Please know that there is much help available for you from people who are eager to support you in any way they can. Embrace those who dwell within your personal community and know that the village is ready whenever you call. Whether you require financial assistance, are seeking new opportunities, wish to share a piece of yourself, or need a helping hand from your partner, receiving this card is your sign that there is someone who can offer you exactly what you need to make it through. Amazing. Oh my gosh, so aligned. All of those messages are incredible. And also, too, it is the month of Easter. So depending on your family of origin or what you celebrate, you may also be celebrating Easter this month. Emily the Mystic loves dyeing a good Easter egg, so I will be coloring all of the eggs and doing all of the Easter festivities, including eating all of the Easter candy. You can count on me for that. I love to have fun here, so I encourage you to do the same. And I hope that this month, again, is that threshold that propels you into that rebirth, that new energy, that new beginning, that shift. And I hope you feel it. I hope that this episode helps ignite that spark and that drive within you. And the final thing that I want to leave you with before I end this episode today is that my work and my life continues to get very busy. If you are considering a single session or reading with me, it's a great time to get on my calendar. As we head into the summer season, I may be taking a break from some of these single sessions. I will continue to offer one-on-one mentorship to people who feel aligned. I will continue to be teaching the Akashic Records. I will continue to be offering workshops and the membership and all sorts of great ways to connect with me. But the single sessions may need to be closed for a brief period of time. So if you feel that call, now is the time to schedule a session. And I can't wait to support you in doing just that. And don't forget, I have some exciting things to come for you this month in the Emily the Mystic world. I'm teaching a workshop on cord cutting on April 29th, which is going to help you clear energy between you and your relationships. So if you've been wanting to learn more about cord cutting or how to apply this or how to do this for your clients, come to the workshop. It's $55. You'll get the recording for life. It's going to be amazing. If you've been wanting to learn the Akashic Records, that will be opening again for enrollment very soon for our summer sessions. So I would love to certify you in the records. It is a life-changing transformational experience that is unlike anything else out there. So if you've been guided to learn more about the records, check that out. I can't wait to support you on that journey. And join the Emily the Mystic membership. If you've been wanting that spiritual community and that connection and like-minded souls, this is a great place to get started. We have so many cool workshops, so many fun live calls. There's so much recorded material just for you that I don't share anywhere else. So join the membership. Why not? There's nothing to lose. All right. Enjoy the month of April. Happy spring. Happy new beginnings. And I'll see you in the next episode. Bye for now.